Hey, what's up, YouTube? So we're now back with part two of our scraper video. So pretty much what we did in part one, please go see that video, is where we pulled the actual pictures from this website, which is jamaicans.com.recipes, and we found out we actually explored how to find out where your information is on the website that you want. And we said that you needed to have some knowledge of HTML, which will be very important because, after all, you're pulling information from a website. So, and websites are written in HTML and other things, but mostly HTML. So, all right, so pretty much, so we found out that our main image is inside this thing called main inbox and inside, and we pulled it out and pulled out the search the source, sorry. So now that we've pulled out the source, which actually is here, because if you click on this you get the actual thing, how do we make it meaningful? How do we get it inside our layout, not layout, which is here? This is the layout file. It's empty right now, so we need to populate it with the information. So let's start by creating some lists or arrays. All right, so first let's create an image array. So let's call this ML as our M list. So M list meaning image list, and that is an array list. And what is going to be in this array list? Strings. So it's going to be storing them as strings. All right. Next thing we are going to want is a text list, or description. So let's just call it T list. And that is also an array list. So that's array list. And it's also a list of strings. Okay. And if you notice something, we created it outside of our async task. So in fact, we are going to be putting it right under our set content view. So it's right under there. All right, so let's look into the layout file, which is activity underscore main XML. And we have our complicated stuff right here. So you should be looking into your activity XML. And let's just look into what is the name of our image. Our image is IM1. Remember, this is in the layout that I already created and copied and pasted in here, which you can use yours if you want. So you can call it whatever you want to call it, or you can, if you're following this tutorial, I'd highly recommend that you use my layout that I will put the link to in the description. So you just copy it and paste it inside the code version of your layout. So anyways, let's continue. So back to where I was. So pretty much the image is called IM1 right here. That's the image ID. So let's hook it up inside our main activity. So let's create a variable, and let's just call this IM1 as well. Can be called whatever you want. And let's just find image by ID. And this is a image view. So image view, and that would be in this r dot id dot im1. Okay, image 1. All right, so we have this. So we are saying back to this in async activity for all the elements inside all info, and that stores all of this. We're going to be getting the image and the image source. So we had before to just print out what was inside that. That is unnecessary. That was just to make sure that we're getting the information. So let's store it in this image list, or IM list that I created. So IM list dot add, because we're adding it, dot add IM. So every time this for loop runs, it will be getting this and storing it in this im list or image list. So now that we have all of this stored, this absolute path stored inside this image list, let's now just create UI thread. So, whoa, not run on UI thread, UI thread. And this goes right after the for loop. And so it's inside the do async task. So it's right inside there. So this is what your UI thread will actually be doing. So let's remember that glide module that we added. So you just type in glide dot width, and this code that I'm writing is actually on the glide website. Let me see if I can bring that up right here. It's actually on it. They tell you how to do it. They give you an example of how you utilize it. Let me see, it's here somewhere. Should be here somewhere. But information is on the internet. Let me get back to what I was doing. So glide with the context, which would be this, and it could be this at main activity. And why we're using this, we're using it to load the image from the external resource, which is the website, into our image view that we specified right here, which is IM1. So we say into, no, glide width, sorry, and we utilize the actual URL. So we would say width, glide width, that load, and now we're going to be passing in this, one of the items out of this list. So we say IM list, and let's just send out the image 1. So at position 1. So there, if you know how lists are, they are counted from 0. So it says 0, 1, 2, 3, so forth. But we're going to be using the second one, which is, so that would be 1. All right. And yes, not to be confused, if you're new to Kotlin, all lists start at 0. So the first element or the first position or index is 0, and the second one would be 1, and the third one would be 3. Please don't be confused by that, but that's just how it works. And we're going to say into IM1, which is our image reference here, IM1. So this is what our layout looked like before. This string was actually added by me. This is not being pulled from the website. I just wrote it in there. And this uses our fancy font. Remember that font that gave us trouble? This, the baby font. And we just put that in. It comes with our layout. All right, so let's just run that file and let's just look at what is going on here. All right, so we have our first image loaded from the website into our layout. All right, so we need to get rid of this hello world because it doesn't help us, because it's, yeah, we need the information. So now we're going to be scraping for the information, which is the information that is on the website in regards to the meals. So let's get here. So we find out, now let's look back into our code, which is the main box inside, and we're looking for where the information is on the actual dishes. So let's click down, and I said, and this depends on what you actually want. So you can actually go to the actual location and click on inspect element and look. So we found out that it's within entry content. So, and it's a class called entry content. So pretty much that it's in entry content. All right, so let's just bring that up and let's pull out that information. So within the same for loop, we can actually go, and I'll call this descript, or DISC, because this is a description of what the dishes are. And we go I, which is our element, that get element by class. And what we really want is go back here, and it's called entry content. That's what it's called. And let's just, because I'm lazy, I'll just copy this. You can write it out if you want, or you get to copy, just simply go edit HTML in your browser, and that's how you get to copy it out. All right, let's minimize, and let's paste that here, entry content. And I always like to use this sysout that I have, which is a system print out, and let's just print what we're getting from it to make sure that we're getting the direct thing. So it's print out disk. So we know that if we try to get this, we're going to be getting some HTML as well, but we want just the text. So we put .text to make sure we're only getting the text out of entry content and no HTML. All right, so let's just print that out. And let's just look in our logcat. What are we seeing? Okay, so right in our logcat, we're seeing one bunch of information, and the good news is we're not seeing any annoying HTMLs. We're just getting what we want. Beautiful stuff. All right, so we're pulling that information as well. So what we want to do is to go back, and you see T list, which would be text list. What we're going to be doing is right where we have system out and we're collecting the description, we're just going to comment that out, and we're going to load up that next list, which is T list, and we're going to say add, and we're going to be adding this description. So every time the for loop runs, it will be actually taking the information for the image and the image source, and also going in and taking the entry content text and adding it to the image list, which is the IM list, and the T list. These lists can be found up here, and bear in mind you can call this list whatever you want. So what we're going to be doing as well now, so now that we have those, what we want to do is to just simply reference that text inside this. So I'm going to just copy this. Well, I'm not going to copy. I'm not going to be that lazy. I'm going to actually write it out. So let's just call it the text1 equal find view by ID, and this is a text view, and that's r dot ID, and then you just simply go over to your XML and check for the text. So it's in a next card view called the text. All right, that's if you're using our layout. If you're using your own layout, just reference where you have your text. The text, cool. All right, so that's our reference, and inside our UI thread, which is inside our do async task, we'll just simply just put what was it called again? It was called dtext1. All right, dtext1 dot text equal d equals tlist, and we just pull out the element at index 1 as well. All right, and we don't need to put toString because it's already a string. All right, so let's just run it and see what it looks like. Should fill out our okay, and there we go. starting to look wonderful so far. Whether you are a foodie or you certainly do have to spend significant portions of your Jamaican curry chicken, it's rich, spicy, blah 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 blah. That's how we are we've successfully pulled the image and we've successfully pulled the text. But we have all these other blank panels here. So what we're going to do is just simply reference them and fill it in. We could have used a recycler for this because it's ideal to use a recycler view on this. But to be honest with you, if you use a recycler view, this would make this tutorial way more complicated than I want it to be. So I'm using a static scroll view with some nested elements in there because a recycler would have been way too complicated. And bear in mind, the objective of this particular tutorial is to show you how to easily create a scraper, and the emphasis is really on easy. So if it's not easy, why show it? All right, so I'm going to just paste this down and I'm just going to copy these and I'm just going to reference the rest. And the things that I'm referencing are just the other spaces within these, this layout, which is in our activity underscore main. So pretty much most of the work is already done. So I'm just going to put 2 on this because everything is just incremented or increased by the number by 1 actually. So this is 3, this is 3 as well, and this would be 3 as well, and this would be 3. The layout is set that all of them just increases by 1. All right, and pretty much let me see if I missed anything here. So have we missed anything? Just gonna check image 3 and image, yeah, and we have M1, M2, and M3. All right, cool. All right, so let's see where we're getting that red line. Okay, dtext1, dtext1. Let's see how many of those we have. Oh, dtext1. This is supposed to be 1 as well. And this is supposed to be dtext1 as well. Cool. And dtext. So I don't think there's a 1 on that. And let's just copy this and paste it here and increase this by 2. Bear in mind, what am I doing, guys? You don't have to necessarily follow this exactly. I'm just referencing the other empty spaces so that we can have a totally filled out layout file. So that's pretty much all I'm doing here. And let's go right down to UI thread and let's just load them up the same way we have done here. We just copy this, glide, and paste it down here. So there's a lot of copying and pasting. But when I went through this, I thought it would be far more easier to do this than to use a recycler view, because a recycler view is way more difficult. So if you want to follow what's going on here, you can just slow the video down, or just replay this part because it's just simply me just adding stuff. So it would be load image, the second index of the image list, into the second image, which is referenced as IM2. And then the second text, which is dtext2, loading the text at index 2. So it's pretty simple. And I just have one more of those to put in and we should be good to go. All right, paste. And this, it would be at index 3, loading to IM3, and dtext 3, loading the text at index 3. All right, so let's run our program and let's see. This is what our program is before it is loaded or refreshed. Let's see what happens now. All right, guys. All right, so we just have one empty panel here. So let's look what that empty panel is. It's filling out very nicely. That means I missed one thing. So let's look into this and see what, oh, okay, so there is a fourth image and a fourth text, and it's IM4, and the text view is dtext4. All right, so pretty much let's go back up to the top and let's reference that. So all I'm going to do is just copy and paste it over here, because everything is named the same way except that they're just increased by one to make life easier for everybody. So IM4 is references the fourth image, which is the one down here, and the text is IM4. The text is dtext4. All right, so that's 4. All right, I think I placed the 4 at the wrong place. IM4, dtext4, and that is dtext4. As in dtext4. Okay, and let's just paste that in down here, and pretty much it's just repetition. When you get to this part of it, there's really nothing to be and we're taking the image list number 4, and this is IM4 and the text 4, and we're loading position 4 as well. All right, so that should be all of them, and let's just run it, and let's look what our app looks like now. All right, guys, and that's it. This is what it is. This fancy text that is here is just a text that I put in the layout. It's not being pulled from anywhere. If yours don't look like this, it's because we're using the special font over here. And I know I have a video on how to create special fonts, or to use special fonts within your application. So just go see that, and that will tell you how we got that up here. So where are we coming from? Let's look. This was our website. Let me take off this. This was our website when we began a video ago. All of this being placed in one thing. And now we're looking at a nicely built application. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So this is you can use this particular approach to create applications from websites that don't have an API, or websites that that you need to make a mobile app for, and you don't need all that clutter and all that stuff in it. You just need the information like how we have and stuff. If you guys want, I can actually show you guys how to create make this clickable, as in to do further scraping from the website, because when you click on the menus here, it brings you to a page that gives you detailed information on how to make the actual recipe. So we could actually get here where we actually scrape the information and just display it in a more meaningful and attractive way. So guys, if you are just using web views to display your websites instead of making it truly mobile, this is the way. Do not go and spend tons of money to a Android developer, or rewrite your entire website to make it responsive, breaking stuff, when you could simply just scrape your own website and get the meaningful information, even if it's just a line or two, because you don't necessarily need all the information or all the website. You just need the necessary information. This is the best way to do it. This is, as far as I've tried to make it, the simplest web scraping Android tutorial that I've seen, and I hope it did the job for you guys. If it did, give it a major thumbs up. Recommend it to persons. This is what motivates me. Tell me, what would you like to see? Was this simple enough? What I try to do is to make these things as easy as possible. If I can't make it easy, I'd rather not to make it. So pretty much, I hope you enjoy. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get this video up in terms of views. So please watch it again if it gives if you're not so clear on it. I'll put the link in the description for the layout file that I use, because it saved you a lot of time, or saved me a lot of time anyway, in creating this. All right, so thanks for watching, guys, again. And if you subscribed already, big thanks. It does help out a lot. All right, and look out for more videos.